Thank you, Diane. Good morning, everyone. We're going to start the service as we start every Sunday with the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence that we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and the practices of all indigenous peoples. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and the path of peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual practices. And as Reverend Carla lights the last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. And now, Reverend Carla.
Good morning. I invite you to join me in our morning's opening affirmative prayer. And know as I speak each word for myself that I'm speaking each word for each of you. In this holy, holy moment of now, I bring my entire whole attention to the one life, the one power, the one presence, the one truth. As this is true, it is true for all of us, as we are part of that one mind. We are of that one mind, the mind of God. And so I know that this morning is already a blessed success. I know that this is a holy, hallowed appointment for each one of us that are here attending this morning. That we're here to remember the truth. We're here to remember who we are. We are here gathered in brother and sisterhood to allow that light to shine within us. And so what I know is a success is that Reverend Judy's talk has something beautiful, beautiful to inform each one of us. Something to be remembered, something to be treasured, something to take us through our days. And I know that no matter what is taking place in the outer world, that it's just change. And change takes place, but the one thing that change does is it changes. The only thing that doesn't is God. That one internal truth that is changeless in itself, and so we bring our awareness and attention to this again and again. And so I give such great thanks in knowing this. Great thanks in expressing it. Great thanks in allowing it to move through my word into a absolute certain law that works every time. And together in consciousness, know this truth, and so it is. Would you join with me reading on the screen our Declaration of Principles? I believe in God, the one creative intelligence operating through the universe and operating through my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates upon a law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total life experience. I use it now and I rejoice in it, and so it is. And now for our morning affirmation. I am one with divine intelligence, empowered by it as a point of creative power. As such, I claim harmony, acceptance, love for all through inclusion of diversity that delights my life. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Carla. And now the Rubies will do our pre-meditation song.
Thank you, Reverend Judy, and we're so glad to have you here with us this morning. I'd like to introduce our singers to you. April Doterive over here, and Karen Meyer, and I'm Diane Kingban. And we're going to bring us into meditation with a beautiful song called Bright Morning Stars.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning
so we continue to follow that bright morning star. As we breathe in love, exhale peace. It's the early morning and we see the stars. As we walk down a country road. The cool breeze blows in our face, and we are at peace. With each breath, with each step, we are more relaxed, more connected to that morning star. As we journey down the road, we see a beautiful field of thousands of wildflowers, each one unique, each one a different color, a different size, a different fragrance. Each one expressing the divine in their own special way. So we veer off of the road and get into the center of the field. And we lay down in the beautiful, peaceful morning. And we open our hearts and we open our minds as we listen to God speak to us in the silence.
welcome back from your place of quiet and that beautiful place that Judy led us to. And we're going to set you up with a song by Mary Chapin Carpenter. Oh, here we go.
In this world there's a whole lot of trouble, darling. In this world there's a whole lot of pain. In this world there's a whole lot of trouble, but a whole lot of ground to gain. Why take when you could be giving? Why watch as the world goes by? It's a hard enough life to be living. Why walk when you can fly? In this world there's a whole lot of sorrow. In this world there's a whole lot of pain. In this world there's a whole lot of sorrow and a whole lot of ground to gain. When you spend your whole life wishing, wanting and wondering why, it's a long enough life to be living. Why walk when you can fly? Why take when you could be giving? Why watch as the world goes by? It's a hard enough life to be living. Why walk when you can fly? In this world there's a whole lot of golden. In this world there's a whole lot of plain. In this world you're a soul for a compass and a heart for a pair of wings. There's a star on the far horizon, rising bright in an azure sky. For the rest of the time that you're given, why walk when you can fly? Why walk when you can fly?
Thank you. And now, Reverend Judy.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Really, why walk when you can fly? It's much more fun to fly. When I was in the meditation and we laid down in that field, and I said to listen to what God said to you, God said, "Don't be nervous, Judy. My grace is upon you." So there we go. So here we go. So good morning, everyone. Before I get started, I want to shout out to all and congratulate all the ministers, the practitioners, the people that have been speaking to an empty sanctuary for the past 5 months. Because believe me, it's a different feel. It's just very different to, we've got, 5, 6 people here and that's it. So if you'll give me a moment, I'm going to go within and visualize all of you in your seats. And I can see you. Thank God for the imagination. I can see you all, and I just want, oh, there's Lorianne. Happy birthday, Lorianne. I see you all. There's Pam in the back, taking care of everything. Mary's at the computer. Josh, everybody. You're all here. You're all here, right here with me right now. And oh my gosh, that just made me miss you all the more. Goodness. I miss your smiles. I miss your hugs. But I know that we still are connected heart to heart for sure, now and always. Our philosophy, our beliefs, our faith is what carries us through times like this, in these trying times. On March 16th, when the order came down to isolate at home, stay at home, be safe, it was supposed to be like 3 weeks. I thought, oh, good, this is okay. I can use 3 weeks. We have a busy life. We're so busy doing everything. 3 weeks, a good break. After 3 weeks, it kept going. Now we're going on our 5th month. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I get a little depressed. I get sad. Fear comes in, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to protect myself. I've got to protect my mom. I just, have to protect. And it upsets me. And what do? I go back to my spiritual practices. For there are so many things to be grateful for at this time, every day. And the number one thing is our spiritual practices. Thank God I learned to meditate, to pray, to use affirmations to lift myself up, to sit in the silence. Thank God I learned that, because that's what I fall back on. And without them, I really don't know where I would be today. We have to bring our focus back to the good. When those thoughts of fear and stress, chaos come in, we need to focus back and be clear that there is only good in our life. And we create it with our thoughts. Absolutely, with every thought we do. So we have to keep a clear and focused vision of what we want. No matter what is going on in our community or on our planet, we individually need to keep that beautiful focus and that clarity that all things work together for good. So that's the first thing I'm grateful for, is our spiritual practices, something to hold on to, and to that spiritual toolkit that we can grab anything we want at any moment. I find myself during the day just affirmations, all is well, life is good, life is beautiful. I use my affirmations all the time. The second thing I'm grateful for is technology. Well, I know my daughter Julie is watching, and right now she's rolling on the floor laughing because her mother resists technology. I resist learning anything new on the computer. I guess it's because I feel ignorant, because I don't know. When I'm comfortable, when I learn it and I'm comfortable, I'm okay. But I resist, and I've cursed technology sometimes. Yes, Julie's laughing. I can hear her in the back of my head. But I am grateful for Zoom. I'm grateful for Google Meets. I'm grateful for Facebook. That's how we get to connect with each other like this morning. I'm grateful for FaceTime, so I can see my family when I call them, right there on my phone. They're right there, like they're right next to me. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for so much more, all the technology that we have today. In the 1918 pandemic, they did not have this. They did not have the connection that we have. So we're grateful. I am grateful for technology, and I'll say it again. And I'm learning not to resist so much. So this month's outline, this month's theme, was presented to all of us by the Centers for Spiritual Living Diversity and Inclusion Commission. There are 11 ministers, practitioners, and laymen on this committee, and they have written the outline for each of the Sunday talks for the month of August. So the monthly theme is Inclusion in Action. And today's theme is Let's Get Together and Feel All Right. So I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So today is an opening. How our central principle of oneness calls us together in a state of diversity, and how the fact of inclusion helps us to live out the oneness that we are. Oneness does not equal sameness. Get that clear. And unity does not equal uniformity. So I looked up the definition of our two key concepts today. I looked up diversity and inclusion, and this is what I came up with. Diversity incorporates all the elements that make individuals unique from one to the other. And while there are infinite differences in humans, most of us subconsciously define diversity by a few categories such as gender, race, age, or religion. Although often used in tandem with diversity, inclusion is a concept all of its own, and it's the achievement of an environment in which all individuals are treated fairly and have opportunities and resources that they can contribute fully to the success of all. Diversity and inclusion. Diversity refers to the traits and characteristics that make people unique, while inclusion refers to the behaviors and social norms that ensure people feel welcome. Not only is inclusivity crucial for diversity efforts to succeed, but creating an inclusive culture will prove beneficial for all people everywhere. Dr. Ernest Holmes says that any thought which tends to inspire, to comfort, and to give peace to the mind is good. So thoughts of diversity and inclusion are good. Dr. James Mellon wrote this last week and posted it on Facebook, and I really thought it was perfect for today. And I quote, "Remember that every single person walking this planet is God, whether you agree with them or not, whether they are of your mindset or not, whether they are of your philosophy, your religion, your political persuasion or not. No matter what, every single person is an expression of God." About 18 years ago, Reverend Patricia Truman and I took our grandkids to the Del Mar racetrack on the train from San Juan to Del Mar. We thought it'd be a great fun day, so we had our day at the racetrack and had fun, and we got back on the train, and on the way back there was a group of men that had a great time at the racetrack. They were inebriated, and they were loud, and they were boisterous, and they were just having a grand old time. And Reverend Patricia and I were in, some class. We were always in the class, so we were some Science of Mind class. And she looked at me and she said, "Judy, are you sure we're all one?" And I said, "Individualized expressions, individualized." So they're doing their expression, but it was very funny. And we laughed about that for years. So today I invite you to examine your beliefs from a place of self-observation. This will help us to become more aware of the thoughts and the ideas that no longer serve us or serve anyone else. This helps us to grow and expand and evolve, and it allows transformation in our heart, in our mind, and in our soul. Consciousness reveals itself as inclusion in action and demonstrates our oneness. Eckhart Tolle said this: "Be aware of what you think to a large extent creates the emotions that you feel. See the link between your thinking and your emotion. Rather than being your thoughts and your emotions, be the awareness behind them." Be the awareness behind those emotions. Be aware of what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Starting in the late 60s, there was a TV show that came on that I was a huge fan of, and that was Star Trek. I loved Star Trek. I never missed an episode, and I watched it for years and years and years, and I watched all the reruns also, and each sequence that came afterwards. Out at about the same time as that was the civil rights movement was coming to a peak. It had started in 1954, but in the late 60s it was coming to a head. So I remember thinking how wonderful it was to watch Star Trek and see all these different characters, all these different beings from different planets all come together for a common good, and they worked together, and they laughed together, and they played together, and they were all from different planets, and they were all different colors, and they were all different shapes. There were some big green blobs, and there were some pink weird things, and but they were all funny, and they were all great, and they were all beautiful. And I loved that. And they all got along. I also can remember thinking at that same time how sad it was that we here on this little planet could not get along with our fellow human beings just because we were a different color or a different religion, or we were born in a different place. So I thought, why couldn't we be like those beings of the future and get together and connect? Well, that's what we're doing now. We are evolving. We are becoming that future that I saw in 1960s. We are evolving. We are changing. We are lifting our consciousness. Change is happening. I often ask myself, why am I here? And what is my purpose? Don't you ever ask yourself that? Yeah, I do. Why am I here? Jesus, the master teacher, the great example, said we are here to be love. We are here to live our life in love and to express love. Very simple, but not easy to do. Jalaluddin Rumi, the great Sufi poet, says we are tasting the taste of eternity this minute. This minute. I believe we're all on a spiritual journey forever and ever and ever. And everything we learn, everything we discover, everything we glean from the wisdom that we hear and see and read, everything moves us to a higher consciousness, and we evolve and we change and we are lifted up. And our awareness of our true nature, which is our divinity, comes through at that time. And we realize our oneness and our wholeness with all beings. John Lennon simplified oneness as this: I am he, as you are he, as you are me, and we are all together. And once again, Jalaluddin Rumi said, I, you, he, she, we, in the garden of mystic lovers. These are not true distinctions. We know we are all one. We know that. But sometimes we do forget. And we think and we feel that we are separate. But the truth is, we are one. One life, one energy, one divine essence. So there are 3 ways to practice inclusion in action. And today's theme, let's get together and feel all right. Number 1, use mindfulness and self-observation to become the observer of your thoughts. By being aware of old false beliefs and unconscious prejudices and releasing them because they are no longer serving you or humanity or anyone on the planet. So we dig those up, we look at them, we look at what we're feeling, we look at what we think, and if it doesn't serve us any longer, we get rid of it. The second one is to apply conscious effort to recognize bias and find opportunities to practice inclusion. Remember what inclusion is. It refers to the behaviors and the social norms that ensure people to feel welcome. I believe that we do a great job of that here at our center and all the centers of spiritual living. We are so inclusive, and we love diversity, and we just welcome every single being, every single person. So how might you consciously apply this and go into the inclusion? You might, and then they suggest that you might attend Diversity Inclusion Commission webinars. They're on our website. Read books on the subject, or reach out within your own community. Reach out to someone, reach out to an organization. Just open your mind and open your heart. Become comfortable with being uncomfortable with change. Change your thinking through awareness and choose and choice, and you will change your life as a result. I've said this to many people. I do not like change. I like it just to go on like it is. I'm happy the way it is. It goes on. But that is not evolving. We'd be stuck where we were when we were 20 years old, or 10 years old, or 30 years old if we didn't change. Thank God we changed. And just as Reverend Carla said in her beautiful prayer, that everything changes except for one thing, is changeless, and that is God. That energy, that life, that intelligent is changeless. We can depend on that. We can hold on to that. So become comfortable with being uncomfortable with change. That's a good thing for me to remember. That's my new affirmation for sure. The third thing that we can do is to set an intention to be an inclusion in action and provide opportunities to be inclusive as it demands upon the law is fulfilled in mind and revealed in our lives as inclusion. So have an intention to be inclusive, to be diverse. Have that intention in it, and the law of attraction will attract that into your life, and that will be so. So then that will be acquiring new expressions of the self, and it is a process. Let the perceptions or the filters with which you are familiar with be set aside. Be uncomfortable with that change. As self-observation is applied, learning something new takes practice. Just like standing here and speaking to an empty sanctuary. Learning something new takes practice. And inclusion does take practice. My mom, June Dixon, has about 50 rose bushes. And many of you have received the gift of her roses on special occasions. She loves to give her roses to the neighbors, and she fills my home with roses, and they're just absolutely beautiful. The people in my community, they walk, I live next door to my mom, and they walk, I have roses too, by the way, but they're nothing like my mother's. They bloom, but, you know. She spends the time with them. And the community just loves to come by and say, "Oh, June, your roses are so beautiful. They smell so good. They're so lovely." So each rose bush, 50 of them, is unique and special and different. Some of the roses, like the peace rose, the blossom, the bloom is like 6 to 8 inches wide. It's just gorgeous, pink, giant rose. Other ones are smaller, but their fragrance is just spectacular. So it's just amazing how different each and every rose bush is. There's pink ones, white, red, yellow, lavender, my favorite, of course, lavender, and then there's the multicolored ones that just, bloom, and they're just gorgeous. So they're all beautiful and they're all unique, and that is diversity. They're individual expressions of nature, each one of them as they bloom. Each rose bush gets watered and fertilized, and my mom goes out and talks to each rose bush almost every day, and they listen. She tells them, bloom, bloom, bloom. They're all given the same opportunity to bloom and grow and express their purpose, which is to give off beauty. And that is inclusion. So we are spiritual beings having this human experience are the same. Each one of us is a different color. Each one of us has different perception. And we are each individualized expression of this one divine energy. So in closing, I want to quote Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of the Science of Mind. "I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the force of nature in its grasp." And so it is. Thank you. And now, Let us pray. As we join together in this cosmic stream of pure loving consciousness, we recognize and we know that there truly is only one divine essence. There's only one first cause to all of creation. There is only one unconditional love and one infinite intelligence. There is only one essence, one energy, one life. And all these qualities of God, the love, the kindness, the compassion, the joy, the understanding, all these qualities of God live and move and express as each one of us. We truly are this sacred activity of this energy. We truly are the vessels through which this divine energy is expressed at this time on our planet. So this morning I affirm and I decree that all is well, and that each being has within their heart that place of peace, that place of understanding, and each being lets that peace come forth and expresses itself as them. The peace and the love, and it touches everyone in the planet. We let our light shine. We let the essence of who we are, which is that God energy, touch everyone that we meet, expressed through every action, through our every word. We recognize the diversity on the planet, in each person, and we celebrate it. We celebrate the diversity. We celebrate the individualized expressions of spirit. So I know that we are alive and awake and aware this moment to all the good that is in our heart and in our mind. And so I release this word into divine mind, into that universal presence that always says yes. Believing is seeing. And my heart is full of gratitude for this truth that sets us free. My heart is full of gratitude for this teaching that lifts us up and evolves us to a higher place. My heart is full of gratitude for the love and the joy of each and every person. And so I release, I let go, and I anchor this prayer in joy. As I let it go, we say together, and so it is. Amen. And now, the rubies.
Thank you so much, Reverend Judy. What a great talk and lessons to learn, and all of it was fabulous. Thank you so much for being here with us. We're going to do an offertory song at this time. It's called Wildflowers, a song originally written by Tom Petty, and our arrangement is based on the Waylon Jennings. We got the Waylon Rubies instead. All right.
so much. Lovely, lovely. It's time for our offering. Okay. There is a, there's a text on the screen, a text number, or you can go to our website and donate there, or you can mail in a check and know that we are solely supported by your gifts and your contributions, and we're so grateful that you're all here today to listen to the service and the beautiful music, and I'm just thrilled that you're here today. So let's say our prosperity affirmation together. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and it symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply.
And now please join us on our closing song, which is the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, we are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And we go forth this week knowing that we are filled with the love of God, and we express it for all to see. Have a great week. Okay, bye-bye.